and obviously it's been confirmed that the live stream is working. Officers have circulated to members of the committee the protocols for remote meetings, the key points of which are as follows. Committee members to ensure that microphones and cameras are turned off when not speaking. Committee members are to indicate that they wish to speak using the raise hand or chat facility and will be invited to do so in the order that they indicate. Please only speak when invited to do so. When invited, committee members are to activate their microphones and cameras before speaking. I will now ask each participant to introduce themselves with their name and role on the committee in the order that I call, and I think I have everyone here. So, Councillor Janet Hunter.
Janet Hunter, Councillor for Benton Ward. Good afternoon.
Thank you, Janet. Councillor Sandra Graham.
Hello, Sandra Graham, Whitley Bay Ward.
Thank you, Sandra. Councillor Carl Johnson.
Hi, Carl Johnson, Battle Hill Ward.
Thank you. Councillor Frank Lott.
Good afternoon, Frank Lott, Riverside Ward.
Thank you. Councillor Bruce Pickard.
Good afternoon, Councillor Pickard, Riverside Ward.
Thank you. And do we have Councillor Karen Lee? We don't seem to have her. Okay, that's fine. From the officers, Stephen Valentine.
Hi, Chair. My name's Stephen Valentine. I'm a solicitor in the legal department.
Thank you, Stephen. Mr. Bryn Roberts.
Good afternoon, Chair. My name is Bryn Roberts. I'm the Head of Law and Governance, and I'm the Monitoring Officer for the Authority.
Thank you. And Joanne Holmes.
Joanne Holmes from Democratic Services.
Wonderful. Thank you very much indeed. As you'll see, the agenda for the day is a short one. So we'll move to item 1, which is apologies for absence. I believe we have apologies from 2 of our independent persons, Mr. George Clark and Mr. Stella Green. And with that, we have Dr. Green as well, who's here as an independent person. Could you introduce yourself, Dr. Green?
Certainly, Chair. Very good afternoon to you. Good afternoon, everyone. Stuart Green, independent person.
Thank you very much. So apologies for absence from councillors, Councillor Brockbank and Councillor Brian Burdis. Are there any other apologies that I'm not aware of at this stage? No? Okay, I'll take that one. Agenda item number 2. Are there any substitute members to be appointed today?
There aren't any substitute members.
Okay, thank you very much. And item number 3, do committee members have any declarations of interest? If so, can you please indicate now? There are no declarations of interest. Thank you very much. Okay, item number 4, minutes. There are 3 sets of minutes to agree, and officers did request that advance notice was given by members of the committee as to any questions they had regarding the accuracy of the minutes. My understanding is that no advance notice has been given. I do believe Councillor Lee's just appeared.
Hello there, sorry for that. I just had to jump out the work, basically. Thanks for the
That's fine. Okay, we're on agenda item number 4, Councillor Lee. Okay, could I ask that members therefore confirm the minutes of the Standards Committee held on the 14th of November 2019 as agreed?
Agreed. Agreed.
Thank you. Could members also note the minutes of the subcommittee held on the 19th of December 2019 in relation to the dispensations for appointments to outside bodies? Could you confirm that that is noted, please?
Noted.
Noted.
Thank you very much. And then finally, to note the minutes of the subcommittee held on 5th of March 2020 in relation to complaint NT 11/2018-19. Could you confirm that those minutes are noted, please?
Noted.
Noted.
Thank you very much. Okay, agenda item number 5, which is the Standard Committee Annual Report 2019-2020, which is obviously delayed. It would have been presented at the AGM back in May. Could I ask Stephen Valentine to introduce, please?
Thank you, Chair. Yes, as you say, Chair, this report would have been presented to Standards Committee in March and then to the annual council meeting. And obviously, since COVID came along, that didn't happen. So this report is being presented to you now. So it is the annual report for 1920. There are two recommendations on the report. One is for the committee to consider and suggest any additions or amendments to the draft report, which is attached to Appendix 1, and to authorise the Head of Law and Governance in consultation with yourself to finalise that report. At some point, Chair, that the report will be reported to an annual council meeting. As of yet, I'm sure you appreciate we don't know when that is, and it's next May, so we'll have to go then. But in terms of the report, what I would delve straight into, Chair, is to go to paragraph 6 of the report, because that deals with what the committee is actually, in essence, was doing before lockdown occurred in March, and in particular the number of committees at the committee meetings that the committee had, and the work programme, which is attached as Appendix 1 to the report. And the committee met on two occasions, as you'll see from the report at the top of page 20, on the 11th of July and the 14th of November. And as we've mentioned previously, a further meeting was scheduled to take place on the 9th of April, but that couldn't happen. In relation to paragraph 7, in terms of complaints under the code in the year 1920, there were in total 17 complaints, 13 of which resulted, as we go through the filter process, in no action. 4 were left to informal resolution and none were referred for investigation. In terms of reviews of those initial assessment decisions at that first filter stage, none were requested for review, which is a very good positive outcome, means our filter process are working and people are accepting those decisions. In turning the page onto item 9, we had there were no decisions on complaints referred to investigation in 1920, because as you know, I've said there weren't any referred for investigation, but we did consider a report which had come over from the previous municipal year, and in that case the committee adopted and accepted the findings of the investigation officer that no breach of the code of conduct had occurred, and you've just approved the minutes of that meeting, Chair. The work programme, as I mentioned, is attached to Appendix 1, and as you'll appreciate, a lot of the work of the committee was curtailed by the lockdown in March, and things couldn't happen the way we had intended, but some things were done before that had occurred. So in particular, we had started work on reviewing the code of conduct and how that interacts with the recommendations that have been made by the Committee for Standards on Public Life. Some of that has been fed through already in terms of changes that we think are necessary to the code of conduct, but we'll have to bring that to a future committee when we'll get the opportunity to do that. There is still work going on with the recommendations of the Standard Committee on Public Life in terms of how we meet their expectations of minimum standards, and we're due to do a response to that by the end of this month. And I'm pleased to report that we think that we meet all of those minimum standards in our current code of conduct, but I'll bring that draft of that letter to go to the committee by the end of this month to you, Chair, for just a final approval before that goes off. We did get the pocket guide to all members that relates to the code of conduct circulated, and I'll probably do that again this year again. So that's the little pocket guide that we have that most members find quite useful, because it's just a very, very simplified version of what the code that did go out again. We were intending to have dialogue with members in relation to how they feel the code works for them, and in inviting senior councillors to the committee. And that did include the chair of planning committee, but I think that didn't go ahead because of the impact of COVID. So when we get into a position where we can organise another committee, we can proceed with that. We did have a regional training event, which was on the 17th of February, where we invited a national speaker to speak to the committee and to chairs and deputy chairs and mountain officers from other authorities. And that was led by Olwen Brown of Anthony Collins Solicitors, and that went very well and was well. We had a lot of participation from the other local authorities in the area. So the report demonstrates that the committee's been working hard up to the point where we got to lockdown. Obviously, things have all stopped since then, and we need to think how we go forward in terms of how we meet our future work programme. And what I was talking to the chair yesterday, and what we suggest is that we've got a committee meeting due, the next meeting of this committee due early next year, And what I was proposing is that we bring a work programme to that meeting, and we'll get that agreed, and then that can then be fed through to the new municipal year, and then we know where we're going with in terms of what the committee is going to achieve. But that's all I have to say on the report, Chair. If any member has any questions, I'm more than happy to take them, and we'll try and answer those questions. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Could I ask members of the committee if there are any questions at all? I don't see anyone indicating. Okay, so could I ask members of the committee to indicate if they would like to suggest any additions or amendments to the draft annual report? Again, I don't see anyone indicating, so can I ask members to agree the report to be finalised?
Agreed.
Agreed.
Thank you very much indeed. But there are no further agenda items, so that is the end of the meeting. Thank you very much for attending. See you next year.
Thank you.